and we can start. Oh yeah.
Did you want to open it up?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. Welcome everybody. I'm Christine Shoemaker. You may not be able to see me because Kendra and Utu-Tuuli are spotlighted, but welcome. We are so excited for this exhibition, curated by Kendra Larson and featuring solo exhibition with Utu-Tuuli, Jussila. And if you haven't seen it, you can see it on our website, shoeboxprojects.com. And we're going to share the exhibition during this time, and Kendra and Utu-Tuuli are going to have a conversation about the show. Also, just a little bit, if you don't know, Shoebox Projects is an alternative space that I created a few years ago. It was physically in my space at the brewery where I live, and then went to online during the pandemic. And so we have group shows and solo shows, and who knows what will happen in the future. I'm hoping to go back to physical space, but we'll have to see. So in that case, I will go ahead and hand it over to the both of you.
Hello, I'm Kendra Larson, and I helped put together the show with Christine and Shoebox Projects. Thank you so much for letting me work with you on this. I would like to introduce the wonderful artist, Utu-Tuuli, Jussila.
Yeah. It's difficult.
Utu-Tuuli is a photographer, gender studies scholar, writer, and musician. They have an MA in photography and an MA in gender studies, and are currently working on their PhD and doctoral program in gender, culture, and society. I first came across Utu-Tuuli's work when I curated a show a few months back called Spooky Camp, and it was all about campy, spooky moments in art. And Utu-Tuuli submitted some amazing photography for that show, and I just fell in love with the uncanny nature of their work. So that is why we get to have this wonderful show. And then Utu-Tuuli, I know that I just kind of did a brief introduction, but do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about yourself and your history?
Yeah, I can say a few words, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Well, as Kendra said, I'm a photographer, and that's my main media, but I don't really take photographs in the traditional sense anymore, or at least not at the moment. I use like found images, and then I also do collaborative projects where the people in the photographs take self-portraits, for example, and I'm only facilitating those photo sessions. And in this exhibition, all these images are found images or curated images.
It seems like there's maybe a nice collaboration between you, your audience, and technology in your work. So we're going to look at these pictures. Did you want to speak about the specific process in these a little bit?
Yeah, I can talk about this process. It all started when I saw this video where someone goes through Google Street View and finds this really, really grumpy cat in Rome. And then I thought that maybe I should try to find this same cat in Rome through Google Street View. And I tried to go to the area and look at the street view pictures, and then these 360-degree images that the users download to Google Street View. I never found the cat, but then I came across this severed arm in one of the 360-degree images in Rome, and I got really intrigued by this. Like, why is this happening? And because it was kind of, otherwise there were no glitches in this image. It was just this one hand, and then it kind of drove me to this project, and I started to look through a lot of other images from all over the world, and then I noticed that this these kind of severed limbs are all over the place. Excuse me. I'm also losing my voice. And then I started collecting them using a screenshot option, like screenshot function. And then they kind of I just kept finding them more and more. And then I started an Instagram account where I collected them first. And it's kind of, I feel that this is like street photography, but I just never leave my house. But it's kind of the same. It's kind of this surreal mode of street photography.
I love this one. And I love that, Ava, you're right. There is a beauty to these that's almost like, for me, it's like a poetic beauty. They're so simple, and yet they say so much. And also, I think we talked about the location being universal, where, isn't that something you mentioned, like that you didn't want the place to be instantly recognizable as a specific place?
Yeah, most of the times I like the anonym. I don't know how to pronounce this. Anonym. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Anonymous. Like,
yeah. Like they are like universal, like you said, and kind of they start to, at least for me, they start to tell a story that it could be kind of anywhere. Of course, some of the locations are recognizable, like some cities, for example, but
it just occurred to me that Google probably would see these as mistakes, and you're reframing them as something else, which is kind of interesting to me. Do you manipulate the photos at all, or crop or anything?
well, I don't manipulate them at all. I might do some like tiny color adjustments, but nothing major. And they are like, of course, they are cropped from the whole 360-degree image, which shows the whole surroundings, and it's just a small part. Sometimes it's like a 1% of the whole image. But I do like to concentrate on the failure. It's kind of more interesting. I notice when I go through these images, like in the Google Street View, and then there's a lot of these wonderful, really like beautiful, but like too perfect images where there are no glitches. I'm like, oh, this is so boring. I'm seeing these sceneries like so many times that I kind of, it's interesting how these like failures are more interesting in this.
Some of these places are like, it's hard for me to think. I mean, I like this one, I could see why they would want to take a picture of it, but some of them I'm like, why is Google even taking a picture of that? But and some of these are really haunting, like this one. I know you kind of spoke to the fact that these kind of embody narrative and allude to some larger story. But are you okay that they kind of have a spooky quality to them, or uncanny quality?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that drew me to them in the the first place. Because and I kind of like the way that they sort of also remind me of spirit photography or coast photography that was really popular in the late 19th century. Even though those were staged or edited photos, but these are kind of like not edited, but still they have this kind of in-betweenness to them. Because in some of them, the human kind of merges with the surroundings, or you can see the shadow, but not the actual body. And it kind of is there in the kind of in the ghost world, or in between the, I don't know what's the other side, but in between being and not being, or in between the surroundings and the body.
I kind of thought like you, Kendra. I'm like, why would Google be in this location? Taking this photo, and of course this image that we're looking at looks like an interior. And so are they inside? Of course it's really ambiguous that way too, but those are kind of the questions that I was thinking about as I was looking through these also.
Yeah, but most of them are like user uploaded, like private persons, photographers, like photography, or they're like private tourist photographs, and not the ones that Google takes with their cars. So this kind of explains, they can be, sometimes they are from people's homes, for example, and sometimes it feels like there's been a mistake and someone has kind of downloaded all of their images to Google, and they sometimes they're kind of on the edge of the kind of they're too private, but often they are just like tourist photographs from when people travel. And it was nice that Christine, actually, you had this white image there with the sandals and painted toenails that you mentioned. I think that that actually from an LA gallery. But unfortunately I don't have the location anywhere, but I remember it, like I was going through some places in LA, and I think this was a gallery actually. So,
okay, I get that sense. You can kind of, but that's just because I'm in the art world, I'm familiar with that. But you kind of
You
get
recognize those toes,
I
Christine?
know. I'm gonna have to start looking for the shoes.
I like the comment that someone mentioned that there's this, they're almost capturing that, like you said, Utu-Tuuli, like the between, like I just got done watching Stranger Things, but it's kind of like we get a small glimpse at that space between dimensions. This one is haunting to me. I love that one, the snow. I'm not sure what it is about it that I love so much, but
yeah, like how it merges with the snow. It's kind of, and the distance, it's hard to grasp the distances in this one, the dimensions.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine how they're standing, because it looks like they're also standing awkward, or are they on a hill? And then the light, like the light and dark, from the snow, changes too. So this is almost like a, I don't know, some type of surreal color, compared to like the snow down here. So it just adds to the whole piece.
and I feel like I'm missing something. I'm gonna look back at the artist statement, but or the curator statement. But we talked about kind of the uncanny, and I just love these. I mean, it's like a different. They're so unique, and the process is so unique. I mean, I could spend all day looking at these.
Well, it was actually quite addictive when I was really looking for these. Now I haven't been doing that so much, but in like 2018 or so, and then I could spend days trying to find them because it was so rewarding to find one and kind of see the image and all the pieces coming together with the background and the limbs, and it was fascinating.
I love how there's a variety. I mean, it's all over the world. And I mean, that's just Google, I mean, it lends to the prevalence of Google.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lot more than just this on your own website, but I like that. And then we kind of talked about this when we were choosing them, but that universal quality of the location and universal quality of the figures with just enough specificity to make them kind of allude to a narrative. I think that balance is really striking in these, that these could be anyone, and we could all relate to them. And yet there's still just enough to kind of get our imagination going of what is going on. What is that person holding? Like, there's no question there. I'm just stating another reason I love these.
And this is a great one again with that shadow, where you can see the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that it's kind of classic street photography, but missing just the whole body.
And this one too, the shadow of the person taking the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic.
Yeah, I also found it really
the people in
interesting
the
how.
background.
Yeah. What's in the bag?
This one really feels like a collage to me. I think it's because that whatever that structure is on the top, on this one too, there's just that kind of connecting them to a history of collage is interesting. And like you said, the history of surrealism in a way.
Yeah. And it's really interesting how, like, in many of these, the act of taking a photograph is really present or visible in these, like in this, like, of course, but in the shadows before. And so it's kind of the amount of images in Google, and kind of, I think I like it how these kind of emphasize the amount of images that people take all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of the in this one, for example, like the phone becomes the central object and the whole person is missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
I think that's it. I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Did anybody have any questions? I'm sure I missed a question. What's next for you?
Well, I'm still continuing with this one. I'm collecting more and more images on the Instagram account on Limorama, but slowly. But I have more than 100, I guess. I can't even remember how many. Some better than others, but I still will continue with this one. But now I'm slowly moving to a project that deals with my grandmother and surveillance. It consists of images from a surveillance cam that was at my grandmother's yard when she was still alive and had Alzheimer's disease, and it has a lot of images of her making yard work, and like it's only the yard, but I find it fascinating and important.
I like that. I can't wait to see that. Sorry about the interruption.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, that sounds exciting. And then your PhD project too, that's kind of wrapping up, right?
Yeah, well, it's my first year, so I'm still in the very beginning of that process. So I think that next year I will concentrate solely on that.
Nice, nice.
And people can see all of that. We put your Instagram accounts on the exhibition too. So at the bottom, your websites and Instagram. So definitely everybody follow Utu-Tuuli.
Yeah, please do.
Awesome. Is there anything else that we want to cover, or it's such a fascinating project, all of your projects. So again, definitely everybody should go and follow you and look at what you're doing. And yeah. And it's, been such a pleasure to show this project, with Shoebox Projects.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to, I'm so glad to have this opportunity with you guys.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it's been lovely. And the fact that I'm in Portland, Christine's in LA, and you're in Helsinki is pretty amazing that we get that opportunity. So thank you for taking the time and sharing your work with us.
Especially at 11 p.m. for you. All right, I think we could probably wrap it up.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Get some sleep.
Yeah, I will. And have a lovely day.
Thank you. Thank you. To everybody, have a lovely day.
Thanks.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye.